Hello beauties! I am coming to share about the Medicine Keepers Cohort. This video serves as orientation for you to get oriented with the activation that we are bringing through in the Medicine Keepers Cohort. And so if you've been feeling the call to join us in the Medicine Keepers, I definitely welcome you to listen and tune in and drop in with us, because this journey has been a long time in the making and it has very, very ancient roots, a lot of roots that our ancestors have been praying for us to rise into for many lifetimes. And so I'm just going to go ahead and begin. And if you have any questions, I welcome you to type them in the comment bar. Please, if you have questions, ask them. I am so here and available to answer them. And so I'm going to go ahead and start just sharing with you the beauty and the activation of the Medicine Keepers Cohort. And really what this journey is, it's so much greater than a 9-week course. This is a lifetime of wisdom and activation that invites us to be the medicine women, to be the healers, to be the artists, to be the poets that this world needs at this time. It gives us the blueprint of how we can actually structure our passions and our purpose into a soul-led business that, number one, makes us money so that we can begin to cultivate generational wealth. But also, number two, that teaches us that it's safe, that it is safe to be in our bodies, that it is safe to exist in our truth and to share our love with the world, our passions with the world. And so right now we already have so many women in the Medicine Keepers course. We have women that, are photographers, that are painters. We have women who are business coaches, who are embodiment coaches. We have women who are dancers. We have women who are psychologists. We have women from all different backgrounds, all different passions coming together in this cohort. And I think that is the single most beautiful thing about the Medicine Keepers cohort, is that it's calling forward women who have their own soul signature of what they came here to bring, right? What they came here to earth with. Each one of us has our own gifts. Each one of us have our own makeup of how we're here to serve the planet. And in the Medicine Keepers cohort, that's the number one thing that I'm seeing is there's a few people who do the same thing, but all of us have our own soul signature. And that is so beautiful because we are focusing on owning that signature and allowing it to expand into a practice that invites people forward to learn from us, to receive from us, right? So a little bit of background, of course, is I've had my business for around 6 years now. And it's evolved in many different facets. It started out as a jewelry company, and then it evolved into an apothecary where I sold herbal medicine products. And then it, as I started to deepen into offering one-on-one sessions with energy healing and the medicine that moves through my channel for energy healing, it went into that realm, and then it expanded into coaching and supporting women through mentorship and apprenticeship and hosting retreats. And it's just been such a great evolution from them. So I've experienced a lot of different realities of how business works when it comes to sharing your gifts from the world. I've even sold paintings and arts, and the beautiful part about it that I've learned is when you are present in your heart, when you're present in your life and you're listening to your passions and you're open to sharing them with the world, it really doesn't matter what you're selling. People are going to invest in what you have to offer because they feel your soul in that object. So whether it was I sold, this painting 2 years ago that was one of my favorite paintings, still to this day is one of the favorite paintings I've ever created. I sold it, and that same woman, she had bought in a bunch of one-on-one sessions with me. She has bought my jewelry, apothecary. She had bought in so many things from me. And when I sold that painting to her, which was the most I had ever sold anything at that point, I realized that it doesn't really matter what I'm selling. It matters that I care about it and that it has this imprint of my tender care and love in it. That's what people want. So I've gone through, over these past 6 years, many different practices, many different experiences. And in the last 3 years, I've landed in my business, which feels really grounded, of supporting women and their womb healing and connecting to their bodies, healing their relationship with their bodies so that they can live the life that they came here to live, resurrecting the body into the living temple so that they can have a center point for their devotion to dwell within. And when we get beyond that grounded presence and that devotion of dwelling in the center, we rise up to the surface and we're like, okay, I'm here to be in service, right? And so that next adoration, of course, is teaching women how to feel safe with their gifts and sharing them with the world. And so the Medicine Keepers Cohorts is a 9-week program that we're going to dive into. And within these 9 weeks, we're going to have one call a week every Monday night, which is 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the topic that we're covering. And through this call, we're going to be talking a lot about, of course, the philosophy of that topic, but also the strategy. So how to actually take what we're discussing around, embodying our gifts and sharing them as a soul-led business, finding that strategy and implementing that into your gifts so that you can share them with the world. And we're also going to be working with the somatics and the energetics and those little nuances that really cultivate us to expand into our greatness. So that's a little bit about the Medicine Keepers Cohort. There's going to be, of course, calls every week, and then also you're going to get specific guided meditation, somatic embodiment practices to support you along that journey. And the precipice of this is really to support you in owning the mastery of your gifts, owning the purpose that you came here to fulfill, the prophecy that you came here to fulfill. Medicine Keepers, for hundreds of years, have spoke to the times that we are currently living in right now, which is people rising up to share medicine with the world, to bring us into the next paradigm, to the new era that many of us feel in our hearts. So owning the mastery of that looks like being ready to share that with the world, knowing how you're going to share it, know how much you want to share it so that you can receive that which your heart is craving. And for a lot of us, money is that little nuance where we can get a little lost in the sauce and where we can contract in our system to be like, oof, I don't know if I can do this because money is bad, or maybe we have ancestors that have scarcity programs, or in our own lived reality, what we're seeing in the world around money can feel contracting. So we're going to be doing practices to allow us to own that mastery, which also includes owning the mastery that we have, that is our gift, to attract money that feels good in our body, that feels good in our soul, that allows us to share our gifts and to be regenerated through that, right? So we're going to be working a lot with money energetics and cultivating safety around money, which is really exciting for me because I've done so much work in the course of my life to heal my relationship with money, especially as a soul-led entrepreneur. So my vision for you is I want more women to come into the place of sharing their gifts and sharing their medicine with the world, whether that is art, or that is coaching, or that is embodiment practices, or women's circles, or serving medicine, whatever that dimension is for you. I want to teach women how to create that with grace and ease. That is something that I've worked very hard to cultivate in my life, and I've found the nuances, I've found the keys, and I want to share those keys with you, right? On how to cultivate wealth, how to create clients, how to create regeneration in business and art that feels graceful and easeful. And working with what you have and knowing how to expand upon it. So many women come to me and they're like, well, I know what I want to do, but I don't see the people to bring it forward, or my following is only 500 people. And we're going to squish those beliefs that say I have to be here in order to do this. We're going to squish those beliefs, and we're going to work with what you have so you can master that and expand upon it, loving what you have, feeding what you have, and allowing it to regenerate and grow from that space. And then with that, landing in the legacy, landing in what you came here to fulfill, the prophecy you came here to fulfill. You, my dear, were chosen for these times that we are in, and the gifts, the expertise, the medicine that courses through you, that channels through you, is here to support many, many, many people who are ready and need your medicine, right? And we're genuinely in a time on earth where we need all women on deck. We need all medicine women on deck. It's time for us to expand and rise into our power. It's time for us to expand and sit on our throne and know our worth, know what we came here to share, and to share it in a way that is attuned to our soul and the calling of our soul and what our soul is wanting us to bring forward, and getting out of the egoic mind that says, oh, you're not ready, or oh, you have to be here, or comparison of, oh, she's doing this, so I want to do this, or maybe if I do this, then I'll receive this. We're going to completely clear all of those belief systems out so that you can land in your legacy and you can bring forward what you came here to bring on planet Earth. So that's a little bit about where we're going and why, and now I want to drop into more of the topics that we're going to be moving through in the Medicine Keepers cohort, which these topics, oh, like just the words have alchemy in them. And the beautiful part about the Medicine Keepers cohort is that, of course, it's a 9-week, there was this point where I was like, okay, this could either be a 9-month course or cohort, or this could be a 9-week cohort. And I chose to go with the 9 weeks because it gets to be that simple. It gets to be that direct. And every single live call that we're going to go into, I'm going to require that you listen to it multiple times, because each theme that we're going over is so multi-layered and has so much depth to it for you to expand upon, no matter what business you're in, no matter what industry you're in. It's about allowing yourself to feel genuinely fulfilled and satisfied by that which you are carrying into this world. So just know that every single word that comes out my mouth, of course right now, but even more when we're in the container of the Medicine Keepers cohort, is a codex. Every single word is a codex. Every single word holds light that is here to activate your system, to bring more regeneration of wealth, to bring more clients, to help you feel more embodied and safe in your business, and to support you in expanding wide to receive, right? So the topics and the gateways that we are going to bringing forward in the Medicine Keeper cohorts really begins with money, mission, and message. For so many of us, it's these 3 little factors that we can get hung up on when we're wanting to create, greatness for the world that comes from our hearts. That little money piece can be that first little hook that keeps us attached in scarcity. And then when we think about, well, what is my mission? That can feel really complex for most people when they're wanting to rise into their mission, and that can be another hook that just kind of creates a little disharmony. And then lastly, the message. How do I communicate? How do I share? Are they going to understand what I'm bringing forward? So a lot of these little nuances, we're going to dive right into how to create cohesiveness, how to create coherence with our money, with our mission, and our message, and how that is landing with our clients, with the people who we came here to serve, and allowing us to take up that space and really solidify and get clear on the money that we want to bring into our lives, the mission that we're here to fulfill, and the message that we want to use and work with to communicate clearly that which we are bringing forward. And it feels so good. I've already begun to organize and transcribe the call for this very first call that we're diving into, and it feels really profound. Even in my nervous system, when I feel it right now, it's like, okay, that's an expander. So that's just the first call, and then we're going to go into the call that says this path is choosing you, right? And really getting clear on that mission statement of like, what is this path that's choosing me, and how can I step onto this path in a way that really harnesses unshakable faith and allows me to own my business, right? Like there can be this conundrum of like, oh, my business is owning me, and like this mission is owning me. Like, let's own it. Let's create solid foundations where you are owning the mission, where you are understanding the path that has chosen you, and that you are also choosing it full-heartedly, and there's no more wishy-washy of like, okay, maybe I'll like just start to trickle this into my community and see what happens. It's like, no, I'm here and I'm anchored and I'm owning it. So that's the second call. The third call is your lineage is your legacy. Your lineage and your legacy has 2 parts to it. One part is, understanding where you come from and where the knowledge that you're here to share with the world comes from, and really getting clear on that and having a relationship with that lineage in a way that is, of course, respectful, but also that creates reciprocity in that process, right? So really getting clear on the lineage and the way the lineage is the spark that sparks our legacy. And then also that second part is knowing that our lineage, the lineage that we're creating through our soul-led businesses, the clients that we're serving, the art that we're serving, the people that we are helping in this world, how that lineage that we are cultivating is our legacy. And when we're talking about legacy, we're literally talking about that which we leave behind when we leave this earth. What is the legacy that you are planting on the earth as you are living here to serve the generations that come beyond you? We're going to get really clear on that and allowing that to be the on button that turns us on and allows us to get even more electrified and amplified on owning that factor of like, I hold deep reverence for my lineage, and that is my legacy. And I hold great, great reverence for my legacy because that is the lineage that I'm cultivating in this lifetime. And that is where the medicine can really be kept and be regenerative and serve the many generations that come beyond us. All right, so that's the third one. The fourth one is your medicine speaks, so let it. Whew! I cannot tell you how many times I have had sisters come to me where we've been working one-on-one or even just here on Instagram where they're like, well, I don't know if people will understand what I'm feeling. Like, I know my gifts, but like, how do I communicate that to the world and how do I convey that? Babe, your medicine speaks for itself. Your essence speaks for itself. Your energy, the ways in which you show up to the world speaks for itself. So let it. And that's going to be the frequency that draws people in, that allows them to feel safe in your presence, to have you to be the one that supports them, that adorns them, that helps them feel more embodied and expanded in this life. So that is a really big conversation that we're going to have, is your medicine speaks, so let it. That one's really exciting for me. All right, so the next one is embodiments of she who knows. As soon as I say that, I can just feel it in my spine. The archetype of she who knows holds the frequency that many, many women are constantly battling to get out of, right? So the opposite side of the spectrum of she who knows is the girl who doesn't know, the damsel in distress, the one who's trying to figure out and she's like, I don't know what to do. She's indecisive, right? So we're going to bring forward the embodiment of she who knows, who is grounded in her presence, who knows what she came here to serve, and who knows where she's going. She knows the path ahead of her. She knows the path behind her. She knows who she's here to serve. She knows what she is getting, and she's no longer trying to receive something. She knows it's coming forward. And so it's this essence of embodying complete unshakable faith in your worth and your service and what you're capable of, and going out and getting it from that space that is solidified in she who knows. It's a powerful embodiment. It's an embodiment that completely revolutionized my relationship with life and completely revolutionized the ways in which I relate to my business and my service. She who knows is the archetype that you feel right now as I'm speaking. And as you look at my business and you look at my offerings and you're like, whoa, she's really got it anchored down. She knows what she's doing. She's confident what she's doing. That is the archetype that I'm inviting into your life through that call. Somatically and of course energetically, she who knows. So that's the fifth one. The sixth one is weaving with integrity, which is really, really important to me. Because when we're weaving, essentially what weaving is the actions that we're taking, the consciousness that we're holding as we're sharing our gifts with the world. That is the weaving essence, right? And knowing how to weave with integrity. A great way to describe weaving with integrity is really centered around getting out of the egoic desires and really coming into the heart's desires, and knowing how to own those heart desires and allow those heart desires to be the frequency that moves you, right? Getting out of the egoic desires, getting out of the patriarchal desires, the capitalistic desires, the colonized desires, getting out of that paradigm and really allowing yourself to land with integrity in the ways in which you're sharing in this world, and making sure that you're checking yourself, that you're keeping yourself integrity with your own well-being, but also the well-being of those in which you're serving, right? Which is extremely important when we're understanding the medicine, right? What is medicine? Medicine is an antidote. It's healing. It cultivates change, right? And so if we are embodying the archetype, the energetics of the medicine keepers, those which keep the medicine sacred on this planet and serve it well for the regeneration of all, and weaving with integrity is our number one, right? Because it teaches us how to stay in coherence, how to stay in regeneration, how to make sure that our medicine isn't just serving us, right? Isn't just bringing money into our lives and our families, but also bringing greatness, great medicine to those in which we are weaving with in this life. Okay, so that's the 6th. The 7th is crystallizing the vision. So crystallizing the vision is all about creating your offers, right? And really crystallizing that process, that vision of the ways in which you want to serve people, and allowing it to fully land as an offering that is going to be your legacy, which is something that you can continue to expand upon over life, expanding, but also something that you can sell right now, and it's going to solidify from all of the information that we've learned up until that point. So crystallizing the vision, that one's going to be super fun. And then the 8th one is offerings that serve the web of life. And so this is a continuation of crystallizing the vision. This is where we are figuring out the ways in which our offers, whether our offers are healing sessions, coaching sessions, mentorship sessions, or even photography sessions, paintings, spoken word sessions, song, music, whatever your medicine is in the world, we're going to be really solidifying the ways in which those offerings serve the web of life, which is extremely important as we're looking at what it means to be a medicine keeper, right? We want to make sure that everything that we're sharing doesn't just touch the person that's paying us, but it also touches their children and their mother and their father and their friends, and that it really creates really good medicine for the world as a whole, right? So then the last one is landing in your golden destiny. And this one feels so special to me because when we're landing in our golden destiny, that is our paved pathway that's paved by Source Mother, Source Father, that's paved by our higher selves, right? It's that golden pathway that leads us to the space that holds, number 1, the most soul lessons that we came here to learn. Number 2, our most easeful, graceful, pleasurable pathway that is free from adversity and resistance. And number 3, where we get to create generational wealth. And I don't know about you, but for me, I want to be the ancestor that my lineage, my descendants tune into, where they're like, she's holding me, right? And when we're walking that path of the golden destiny, we're creating a prayer for our ancestors to land within, where their lives are more cohesive, more nurturing, more safe than the ones that we're living now. So landing in your golden destiny is all about, owning your worth, letting the money codes land, letting the resources land so that you can walk your golden path. And the pathway that's paved in gold, like, babe, that's your premium self. That's your first class self. That's the self that is expansive, that's completely open to receiving, that's completely open to being great medicine for this world, right? I see some hearts there. So that is the last call that we will end the Medicine Keepers with. And it's so important because that's where we're all ultimately wanting to go. That's where we're all ultimately wanting to exist. That's why we create soul-led businesses. That's why we become entrepreneurs, is to land on that golden path of our destiny. And knowing that when that golden path of destiny is architected, when the geometry is landed, there's no getting off of it, right? So when we finish with that call, it's not like, okay, you're ending the journey of the Medicine Keepers and you're going off and you're doing your own thing. Like, you're always solidified on that path, and this is a codex that will continue to teach you over your lifetime as a medicine woman, as you're bringing greatness into this world. And that golden destiny, you'll stay on it. Yeah, you might take a right turn, a detour to learn some new lessons, but you're always going to come back to that golden destiny. So we're going to be solidifying the architecture and the geometry of your golden destiny to support your human self to fully continue on that pathway. So those are the gateways that we're going to walk through. And I want to just take this moment to invite you to join us, because this journey holds so much richness, it holds so much depth that will continue to feed your life for many, many years to come. And you know, my desire, when I feel into what is my desired outcome for the women who choose to join the Medicine Keepers, it really begins with, I want you to receive money. I want you to receive money. Like, so much of this course is going to be set up to support your system to learn how to receive great money for your great work, right? And so my intention is that every single woman who comes in, they 10x their investment before the end of the 9 weeks. So essentially that means that you will make over $10,000, you know, by the time that course is finished. I want you to make that much. And I know that if you show up and you're integrating and you're selling and you're showing up in your purpose during this course, it's going to amplify it and you're going to 10x your investment very quick. And that greater goal is, I want the women in this cohort to land in their 6-figure year. I want the women who join the Medicine Keepers cohort to have their 10,000 months, to have their 100K year with grace and ease, simply by showing up for their purpose, simply by allowing their abundance to expand, and that to be the ways in which they're sharing their medicine with the world. So in the Medicine Keepers cohort, that's where we're going. We're going to land in our 6-figure business that is rooted in integrity, that's harmonized with the desires of our heart, and that is nurturing to us, right? That's getting out of the paradigm of overworking ourselves, overworking our masculine energy, and allowing us to genuinely lean back into our feminine energy and feel resourced by our business. And what that brings forward is a grounding presence, right? So another outcome that I want you to experience is really, really, really receiving the grounding presence of your business, and how the presence of your business leads your life exactly where you need to be, and cultivating deep, centered trust with the business. And you know, what is that? That's sacred union, right? And there's another thing, I'm just going to share this lightly because this is something we're going to go really deep into in the cohort. But that little sliver that I'm going to share with you is that you are you. You are your own sovereign human being. You're living your own life. You are you. Your business is its own soul. Your business is its own spirit. It has its own soul blueprint, its own embodiment, right? And the two of you get to be separate, right? And the two of you get to come together, almost like, you know, Venn diagram, where they're coming together, and there's a space in between, which is your offerings to the web of life, the ways in which you are showing up to the world to share your gifts. And that sacred union gets to embody your personal sovereignty, embody the sovereignty of your business, and find that beautiful harmonious space where the two of you coexist and create greatness for the world. So get ready to serve. If you're wanting to be of greater service, if you're wanting to supercharge your business, your life, your passions, rising into the Medicine Keepers, right? If you feel that word and you're like, okay, in my DNA, I feel what it means to be a Medicine Keeper. I feel like that is true to my soul signature. I'm ready to rise into that. I welcome you to join us, right? You're also going to get all the recordings, and you're going to want to listen to those recordings for many, many, many moons to come, because they are transmissions. And remember, like I said, every single word is a codex that will activate you. And if you want to learn more, if you want to look at more of those details and feel more of the core essence of the Medicine Keepers course, you can go to the website link in my bio called Medicine Keepers, and you can look at that message and that medicine, and the link to join us is there. Another little note that I forgot to mention is that we're going to have a group. This is a group cohort, of course, but we're going to have a group space for all of us to communicate and expand your medicine, share your medicine with the sisterhood. And we have some really powerful medicine women. Every single woman who's joined up has been really powerful. So you're going to not just receive my medicine, but you're also going to have the opportunity to receive medicine from the sisters who are also in this. You're welcome to join. Whether you do payment plan or you want to pay in full, whatever serves you best, sister, I welcome you to join us. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who all steps into the Medicine Keepers, because so far the women that we have are an initiation in itself. So I want to go ahead and close out this orientation for the Medicine Keepers cohort with a prayer. If you're open to receiving that prayer, please stay with me. And all you have to do is receive it. You don't have to recite it, just let it into your body, okay? Dear Great Mother, Great Earth Mother, Great Cosmic Mother, Mother of this realm and the realms in which we create from, thank you. Thank you for bringing us here today. Thank you for showing us the way to our golden destiny and giving us a blueprint to land upon. It is from this space that we ask if you would be so kind. If you would be so kind as to hold us in this expansion, in our full body yes, and giving ourselves permission to step onto the path of being medicine keepers, being good medicine for this world, and teaching others how to also be good medicine for this world. It is with this gratitude, with this grace, and with this kind ask that we welcome you to align the constellations of our life to make this vision possible, to make the medicine keepers accessible, regenerative, resourced for our lives and the lives that we get to touch. Support us in walking on our golden destiny, here and forevermore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special gratitude and counsel to the Medicine Keepers Council, which lands within White Buffalo Woman. Thank you, White Buffalo Woman. Lands within Sekhmet. Thank you, Sekhmet. And thank you, Kuan Yin. This Holy Trinity is the council of the Medicine Keepers cohort. It is with this Trinity that we thank you for the supercharged nature that this initiation, this activation, that this cohort brings to our lives. We humbly bow in gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe, Amen, Sat Nam. I hope that felt good in your system. Of course it did. Prayers always feel good. All right, sisters, if any of you have questions around the Medicine Keepers cohort, feel free to ask in the comments, and also send me a private message. If you hear the calling, please message me. Let's go into this. I want to hear about your why. I want to hear what your mission is, what you're feeling, and why you feel called to join the Medicine Keepers cohort, and we would love to have you. Alrighty, I humbly bow to each and every one of you. Big love, big medicine to your life and all that you carry. And I will be here waiting to receive you, ready to receive you when you're ready. Alrighty, babes. See you on the other side.